Hi, my name is Mike Keglovitz, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Colorado Able today. Um, the real benefit of Colorado Able is that the one main benefit is that any money that's in an Able account is an exempt resource. What does that mean? Well, that means that um, any money that's in there is exempt from the calculation for Social Security and also for Medicaid. So it is not part of that $2,000 asset cap that those programs have. Typically, if you're over $2,000, you can lose your federal benefits like SSI and also Medicaid. The other big benefit of ABLE accounts is once money's in there, it grows tax deferred, and you also have tax-free access as long as it's going for qualified disability expenses. The other thing is, in the world of ABLE, you can only have one ABLE account per person. So one person can't have multiple accounts. It's just going to be one account per person. The the other thing that a lot of times people get confused is again, the ABLE account works for the asset side. There's also a calculation for the income side. And if you're taking money and putting it into an ABLE account, that doesn't mean that you can make more money when it comes to qualifying for Social Security. It just helps on the asset side. It helps for that $2,000 asset limit. So the other thing is to qualify for an ABLE account, the onset of disability needs to occur before age 26. This is going to change in 2026. This number is going to go up to age 46, but right now until 2026, it is age 26. So if your disability occurred before age 26 and you have that check mark, then the next question is, are you eligible for SSI or SSDI? If you are, you don't need to do anything else. You can just go ahead and open up an account, a Colorado Able account. There are some examples where people are not on SSI or SSDI. Maybe they're working, but they are still considered disabled. Uh, they would just need to go through a self-certification process. And what that means is they would go to their doctor and they would get a letter saying, hey, this person's disability meets the Social Security Administration's definition of being disabled. And you're supposed to do that annually as well and have that updated. When you go to open up an ABLE account, that does not mean that you need to send that letter in. You would just want to keep it on file that you would have that account available or that letter available. This is for Colorado Able. This is something that's new for 2023. Medicaid cannot seek reimbursement. There's a lot of confusion around this. Up until this year, Medicaid was able to seek reimbursement. So if they paid out a certain amount of money and the individual that was eligible for ABLE, if they passed away, then Medicaid could come back and take some of the account, or they could take all of it, just depending on what they've paid out. But starting in 2023, Medicaid can no longer do that. So we have gotten a lot of feedback and a lot of excitement that now people aren't afraid that that money is going to go back to the state, that money then can go on to other individuals in the family. So it's really flexible in terms of where the money can come from. So you can always do up to $17,000 in total, but it can come from individuals, it can come from trusts or an estate. Very, very flexible of where that money can come from. Um, as well, if the individual has earned income, then they can do an additional amount on top of the $17,000. Uh, you have to fill out a form, and once that form is submitted, you can do 100% of the federal poverty limit of the year prior, which is just over 13,500 or so for 2023. But that means the individual has to make that amount of money. If they only made $5,000 in earned income for the year, then they could do 5,000 on top of the 17. If they made 8,000, then they could do 8,000 on top of the 17. So you have to make that amount to be able to contribute the additional amount into the ABLE account. Qualified disability expenses are very general guidelines, which is very good for the individual that's disabled. That means a lot of things can really qualify in each of these categories. So for instance, if you look at transportation, transportation could mean taking the bus. It could be taking Lyft or Uber. It could be buying a car. It could be maintaining a car. Um, all of those things just fall into transportation. If you look at prevention and wellness, if somebody wanted to go on vacation, they could go on vacation and use their ABLE account for that. If they needed somebody to go with them to help and assist them, they could pay for that as well. They're just not paying for the whole family to go out of the ABLE account. Good usually as long as the individual is benefiting, the person that's eligible for the ABLE account, as long as they are benefiting from the expenses from the ABLE account, is probably going to be a qualified disability expense. So you can see there's lots of different categories in their education. Oftentimes families will open up a 529 account or a college savings account. Um, College may be a possibility, but also maybe it isn't. So people can take money from that college savings account and they can roll money over into the ABLE account and they can still use it for education, but they can also use it for a whole host of other things that um, the college savings account typically wouldn't be able to cover. So they'd be able to use it for health, they'd be able to use it for assistive technology or employment training, or maintaining financial management or administrative services. So there's a lot of other things. The other thing that's very exciting about an ABLE account is that you can pay for basic living expenses. You can pay for housing. You can pay for food, clothing, things like that. Typically, those expenses are not covered in a special needs trust. A special needs trust, you can't pay for those basic living expenses. But in an ABLE account, you can pay for those things. You can also pay for anything to keep a household up and running, uh, gas, electricity, water, things like that. So those are also included in qualified disability expenses. If the ABLE account ever exceeded 100,000, SSI benefits would be suspended. And if the account fell back below 100,000, then SSI would start again. If the individual is on SSDI is an earned benefit, be it based on either the parents or on the individual based on their work history. And that is not something that would ever go away, even if the account got above $100,000. The other thing to note is if the account did go over 100,000, Medicaid benefits would not go away no matter what the balance of the ABLE account is. So the only thing that could be affected is SSI. So with the ABLE account, if you think of a big umbrella, you have these two boxes, the yellow and the blue box underneath that umbrella. This is the Colorado ABLE. You have a lot of flexibility with an ABLE account. On the left, on the yellow box, you can see that there's aggressive, moderate growth, um, conservative option. You could put a little bit in each of those, and you could say, well, I want to put 30% in the aggressive, I want to put 20% in the moderate, and then I'm going to put the other 50% in the checking slash debit option. The checking debit option, that means you can use it today, and it's not going to go down in value. The investment side, those things can go up and down just based on the market. These are typically going to be Vanguard index funds, so they're fairly inexpensive to have those options. But again, you have a lot of flexibility and you can take money from the investments and put it over into the checking option so that you could use it if you said, I want to buy an iPad 5 years from now. I've been saving in this moderate model and I've hit my goal. You can then take that money, transfer it over into the checking so that you could go to the Apple store and buy that iPad. So a lot of flexibility with that. Um, if you sign up for electronic delivery of the statements and you're a Colorado resident, it's going to be $8.25 per quarter that is taken out to have the option of both of these things. It's slightly more if you sign up for paper delivery of statements, or if you're out of state, it's slightly higher. The banking option is going to be through Fifth Third Bank. In Colorado, we do not have a Fifth Third Bank brick and mortar here. So this is going to be a virtual banking or investing experience. You're not going to be able to walk in and sit down with somebody, bank teller, to be able to get assistance. But we do have people that are available, and you can also access your account online to be able to make changes for it. So Fifth Third Bank, they also waive the $2 a month checking fee if you sign up for electronic delivery of statements. The other thing is if you maintain an average monthly balance of $250, they will also waive that $2 a month banking statement. So you have two options to be able to eliminate that cost. So at this point, you're thinking, this is the greatest thing ever. I can't wait to rush out and to open up my ABLE account. And just to give you a little background, what ColoradoABLE is part of College Invest, which is the college savings program for the state of Colorado. And we are a self-funded nonprofit within the Department of Higher Ed for the state of Colorado. So really our job is to educate people and to make sure that we're supplying a good product for the people of Colorado. So if you wanted to take the next steps and learn more, or to open up an ABLE account, you would want to go to ColoradoABLE.org. And then you would read the plan disclosure documents. It's only about 130 pages of excitement, but there's some very good information in there if you have questions. And then the information that you would want to have on hand is you'd want to have the Social Security or tax ID, date of birth, permanent U.S. Street address, email address, and then if you wanted to link an account that you were going to transfer either monthly or transfer when you need it, a checking/savings account, you would want to have the account number and also the routing number. And then, of course, if you needed help or assistance, you have the enrollment number of 1-888-609-3468. So we touched on the House Bill 1320. Last year it was passed, and basically what that meant is starting in 2023, no Medicaid recovery. So we talked a little bit about that. Also, anybody using ColoradoABLE, they can also get a Colorado state deduction on any contributions into the account. And what that means is if people use other ABLE accounts outside of Colorado, they can certainly do that. They just don't get a deduction on their contributions like they would in ColoradoABLE. And then as well, we also made it easier to open accounts. So first off, if somebody is capable of managing a financial account on their own, if they're 18 or over and they are capable of managing an account, they can just go and open up an ABLE account and start using it. If they wanted to have a second pair of eyes to help and to look at statements or even do transactions on the account, they can give different levels of authority on that. But if they're capable, they would need to have a power of attorney on file, and we do have those forms listed on the website as well under the forms section. If somebody's under 18 or they're over 18 but they're not capable of managing the account on their own, then they need an authorized individual to open up on behalf. So if they're under 18, it's typically going to be a parent or guardian. If they're over 18, it can be a parent, guardian, it could be a sibling, it could be a relative, or it could even be a rep payee. And they can attest online saying, hey, they are the person that should be managing this, and they can do that. As well, if you open up an account uh, by the end of the year, you can receive $25. We put that to help defer some of the costs that are associated and to help get you started saving. If you have any questions at all, you can certainly also contact me. My name is Michael Keglovitz, and my direct line is 303-376-8833. You can certainly email me as well, and that's MKEGLO, V as in Victor, ITS, at collegeinvest.org.